Happy Hanukkah, Tiffany.
This place is like Studio 54 with a menorah.
Hey, Vinny, listen to...
I never heard anything like this in my life. Listen to this.
This is exciting! This is exciting! Huh? Did I miss anything already?
Kramer, get in!
Kramer! Where's the crazy man?
Hey! Sit down. Come on, it's about to start.
Oh, hello, Professor, and welcome to Seincast, a retrospective on all 180 episodes of Seinfeld, being hosted by two guys who can barely run their own lives. My name is Vinny.
Matt here.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing just fine. How you doing?
Good. I'm getting over that cold from last week.
Oh, you still have it?
Yeah.
It's no good. I don't think we usually lock these episodes in time, but the holidays are approaching. By the time this episode goes live, we'll have already started Hanukkah. Got Christmas around the corner, but most importantly, we have Festivus coming up.
Yes, we do.
I think this will be our first episode. I'm sorry, the last episode released until Festivus. So we hope everyone has a very Merry Festivus.
A happy and a healthy.
Are you doing anything special for Festivus? Do you celebrate with like a poll or airing of grievances?
Nope. I'd love to get a poll one day. Amazon has a mini poll that you can get, but I know there are life-size ones as well. And I believe you posted that they're sold out. Is that correct?
Well, that was just like like equipment, like hardware. Guy was selling aluminum poles.
That's how it's made.
Get the real thing. But do you think,
Vinny,
Vinny, are we like in a... I guess what I'm trying to say is we've gifted each other so many Seinfeld products in our life. Is there anything else that, we need as Seinfeld fans? Like you want at least, I could maybe get you?
Well, we always talk about the ultimate would be to meet somebody from the main cast in
I can't
person.
give you
So
that.
if you could make that happen. But no, you bought me that lovely, the black and white photo book of the last days, which is wonderful. Great coffee table book. We have our mugs from the Kenny Kramer reality tour. I have my Soup Nazi mug. I have a signed original Soup Man soup box by Larry Thomas that you got at Brooklyn Cyclones game. So we're accumulating this nice catalog of Seinfeld merch.
Right, yeah. And I think I mentioned this in the past. You gave me the Plyometrics, or is it Plyometrics?
Plyometrics.
The white shoes that Kramer wears with the round discs on the bottom. They are horrible shoes. Like, my back hurts so badly if I ever wear them. I wore them to trivia once, and by the end, I could barely walk.
Did people appreciate it?
Kind of. People thought it was a little weird because when you walk in them, you look like a raptor. Like you're just like walking through the kitchen.
I can completely visualize that.
This little like POV shot between my legs, walking through the trivia bar.
She's not alone.
I've also got the astronaut pen. Yeah, so we have some nice Seinfeld gear. Maybe I'll try to find something neat for you this Festivus season.
Thank you. I know it's going to be a good one. No pressure. I always appreciate when you do the food gifts. So, like when I visited you in Harlem the one time, you had an entire assortment. You had Juji fruit, Bosco, black and white cookies, Junior Mints, and you just kept going on and on. Snapple, like it was unbelievable.
Didn't end, yeah.
You went all out, yeah.
But we hope everyone has a very happy Festivus on the 23rd. That's Tuesday the 23rd, 2014. And yeah, also if you celebrate Hanukkah, Christmas, any other holiday, hope you have a good one too.
Feel free to air your grievances on our Facebook page. We'd love to hear them.
Oh yeah, I didn't really think of that. People should. Not with our show. don't
No.
God, no. Don't say anything bad about the show, but Vinny, Seinfeld news?
Yes.
Hey, I got news for you.
Great news. All right, I got news. You ready?
The only Seinfeld news we have this week relates to us.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that.
You're really self-involved this week.
Yeah, a little bit. Vinny, you and I were interviewed by a reporter. Her name is Laura Kane. A few weeks ago, she writes for the Canadian Press, and she was putting together an article about podcasts like ours. There's a lot of them out there. X-Files, for example, Saved by the Bell, Twin Peaks. Basically shows, 90s shows particularly, that have gone off the air, yet there's this fandom, this community that wants to keep them alive and has podcasts, breaking them down episode by episode. And she interviewed a bunch of us, and she wrote just a fantastic article on sort of this classic TV show revival via podcasts. And yeah, it was wonderful to we can finally say there's a blurb about us out there.
We got a blurb.
We got a blurb.
And we're actually mentioned in this blurb, too.
Yeah, it kind of would have been nice, too. I mean, in a weird way, if we weren't mentioned, we could have at least said, hey, we're not mentioned in this blurb.
Could have complained, yeah.
But she was just wonderful to talk to. And
she really was, yeah.
I don't mean to ruin or spoil the article, but there is a very nice reference that we made during the interview that she kind of called us out on.
Yeah, so thank you. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Laura, very much. We'll include this article in our show notes if you want to check it out, or you can just check out our Facebook and Twitter pages. I posted it there a couple of days ago. That's it for Seinfeld news.
Oh, that's some good news.
Vinny, what episode are we going to be talking about today?
7th episode of Season 3, The Cafe, written by Tom Leopold, directed by Tom Schronis, and airing on November 6th, 1991.
And for everyone listening, Vinny and I are following the episode order in our DVDs, which might contradict the air date order or most online guides, so we recommend everyone pick up Seinfeld on DVD, but if you prefer not to, we'll include our episode order in our show notes.
Hey, a friend of mine texted me a picture from a thrift store, and it had the Seinfeld box set in that black packaging that's really pristine looking. It has the coffee table book, as well as the round table with Larry David and the cast. And they were asking for, I think, $1.99 for it new.
Oh, God.
Which is, yeah, right? Because you can get it used for like $180, and then I think new it's about $300.
Oh, okay.
But it was just nice that he thought of me. You know, anything Seinfeld related, I get a text from him.
Yeah, that's nice. This was the collection that came out, I think, with Volume 8, which was the 9th season. So if you hadn't bought all of the individual seasons like we did, you could buy this box set at the end, which was, actually, our friend, Rupa, she bought that collection, I think.
Yeah.
And I think she said she wasn't really happy with it in terms of the design.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if any of our listeners out there actually own this. This is what did you say? It's like a black kind of leather-ish.
Yes. Very distinguished looking. To my knowledge, the only thing extra that it contains, if you didn't get the seasons piecemeal, is a coffee table book, and then also a round table discussion that the cast filmed a little bit later. So it's Larry David and then the four sitting around a round table. And I think it's only like 20 minutes long. So I think you probably find it on YouTube.
But yeah, holidays right around the corner. I think you'll probably find some pretty good deals online for Seinfeld on DVD if you haven't bought it already.
Or Curb.
Or Sour Grapes.
Or Veep.
So before we start talking about this week's episode, The Cafe, we have a little bit of setup. As you mentioned, Vinny, this week's writer, Tom Leopold, this is his first time writing a Seinfeld episode. He's going to return later this season for the episode The Suicide. He also has a story credit for the Cheever Letters. But for this week's episode, a lot of experience, like he was inspired quite a bit coming up with this episode. The idea of Dream Cafe was based on an actual cafe that was around the corner from where he lived in New York City. It was a Vietnamese restaurant, also called the Dream Cafe. Very tiny restaurant, enormous menu. I'm sure we've seen a place like this in our lifetime. That just seems like they have everything.
Yeah.
Even though there's only like 4 tables. The George storyline in the cafe was also inspired by an incident in Tom Leopold's life, his dating life, to be specific. His girlfriend at the time was doing some kind of, I call it psychology work, and she wanted him to take an IQ test. And he was sort of, panicked with this idea that she would find out that he wasn't that smart, which when I heard him say that on one of the interviews on the DVD, I just immediately connected with this guy. I think there's a reason why these episodes are so good. They're all written by very neurotic people.
Love them.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's fantastic.
Here's another one of those examples of what makes for a good episode of Seinfeld is a good story, and usually it's a anecdote from your personal life, not something you conjured up. But this actually happened to me. It's believable. It's real. It's funny. It's very funny.
Now onto the Babu Bot character. Since it was a Vietnamese restaurant that was around the corner from Tom Leopold, the Dream Cafe, the original character of Babu Bot was a Vietnamese man, and his name was Vong Sim.
I never knew that.
mind blowing, right?
Yeah.
Babu Bhatt is such a staple of Seinfeld. Like he is just one of the classic characters, or at least I think we'd argue he is.
I can't imagine him as anybody other than Babu Bhatt.
Now, at the time when they were casting the character at the point Vong Sim, they were considering a lot of different ethnicities. So I think when Tom Leopold was writing this episode, since he was basing it off of a Vietnamese restaurant, that was sort of his go-to, character. But it seems like the casting department and the creators were open to any ethnicity. It wasn't just, hey, this has to be Vietnamese no matter what. But in the script, he was described as a Cambodian man in his mid-30s. He wears a short sleeve, shirt. I think kind of like that floral design. But of course, the role went to Brian George, who we know so well as Babu Bhatt.
Love him.
Isn't it so bizarre to hear him interviewed?
Yeah, because he's got a British accent. He's from London. But yeah, he's got such an eloquent way of speaking, and yet that's not the way we've come to know him playing Babu Bhatt.
No, not at all.
And I had no idea. He also does a lot of voice work, and he has for years. But he's done, you name it, Batman. He's done, all sorts of video games and cartoons.
Now, this Vong Sim character, or Babu, whatever you want to call him, was also supposed to have a wife in this episode as well. Now, I believe this character was cast, but the role was cut before they started filming. The original ending to this episode was going to be a lot more, what's the word, Vinny? Positive?
Yes,
like up,
correct.
not uplifting, but not as dark.
It was going to have a happier ending for Babu.
So during the scene at the end that hopefully you have already seen the episode, when they're loading all the chairs and tables into the pickup truck after Jerry sort of got the Dream Cafe shut down, Jerry would run into Mrs. Vong Sim, and she wasn't going to be the same ethnicity as her husband. She was actually going to be this striking blonde woman from the Grace Kelly, Faye Dunaway school. So,
ooh, how do you do?
I imagine like short blonde hair, a nice sort of not a power suit, but a very kind of conservative looking outfit.
She actually wore an English riding outfit.
Oh, there you go. The Babu Vong character would tell Jerry that his next move was to actually buy a minor league baseball team, but this wife of his fell in love with a stud farm in Kentucky, so they're going to buy that instead. And they drive off in a Mercedes, and that's it. So the joke would have been, hey, Jerry was so worried about this guy the whole time, but it turns out they're just this rich couple that can do whatever they want.
For nothing.
Do you like that ending more, though, than what we got?
No, because it sets up for Babu to come back in the visa as well as the finale, for him to have issue with Jerry. And, Jerry will haunt him for the rest of his days. So, yeah, had it ended like this, we may have not had Babu come back.
Yeah, I kind of like this a little bit more. I feel really bad for Babu, but as we know from the finale, Babu does finally get, not his revenge, but...
He exacts vengeance.
Yeah.
Or at least he adds to it. And I got to say, Brian George, we'll talk about that during the episode perhaps, but that hand-waving motion with that finger... It seems like his index finger is so long. Like they had to cast, we need a really long finger on this guy. So get out the tape measure. But it's so good.
Well, how about we get started? Enough rambling?
Please.
There's like always one location in your neighborhood, one store location that's constantly changing hands. Everybody has this in their neighborhood. It's a leather store, then it's a yogurt shop, then it's a pet supply. It's like constantly changing. Nobody can do business there. It's like some sort of Bermuda Triangle of retail, Stores open up and then they just disappear without a trace. Nobody knows what happened to them. I guess eventually when aliens land in the mothership from Close Encounters, the bottom will slowly open and all these store owners will come wandering out in the days going, I thought there was going to be more walk-in traffic, didn't you?
The thing about this stand-up that I noticed, it's quality stand-up, but I'm really aware of his cadence and his rhythm with this one. Like, it really syncs up with the music nicely, and the way he says, it's a leather store, it's a yogurt shop, it's a pet supply. You really get that Seinfeldian delivery. So that was what I kind of took away from this stand-up.
The stand-up is, it's okay, I guess.
Oh, you don't like it?
It feels like, we've brought this up before, hey, was this stand-up written for the show, or was this Jerry's stand-up that he, was able, that he came up with on his own that he's able to tie into the show? And this definitely feels like Jerry read the script, and he's like, okay, I could do something on that. And I
got to come up with something for a restaurant. Okay, yeah, I could. I agree with that.
It feels like that, which again isn't a bad thing, but I always find Seinfeld's material to be strongest when he came up with it on his own.
Yeah. And of all people, of all comedians, his act is always so polished that you could, there's a discernible difference when it's not his A material or not his polished, perfectly worked material versus I'm writing this for this episode I'm doing.
Yeah. And it also kind of feels like the stand-up he's starting here, it's almost like he's about to get to something and he never gets there because we then go into the episode. This doesn't feel like kind of a bottled piece of stand-up. It's almost like setup. Anyways, first scene of the episode is at a sidewalk. I think this is the first time we're seeing like the, what do you want to call it? The
facade of the street.
Yeah, there's storefronts of sort. We did have one scene outside in a car on the street in the ex-girlfriend. That was
ex-girlfriend with Marlene.
With Marlene, where this is the one where remember Elaine gets in the car and she and George have that conversation. Should they set boy girl or girl boy boy?
Yeah.
You get a little bit of like not a storefront, but I think kind of like an alley brick wall.
Right.
Which this is the premiere of season 2. I think the budget was pretty small. It got a little bit bigger this season, and they were able to create these 4 storefronts. It's like a restaurant. I think there might be a fruit stand there. But nonetheless, though, this is all they had to simulate Manhattan, which is insane, right? Mm-hmm. When you think about shows nowadays, they usually have, oh my God, like an entire...
It's so expansive.
Oh, it's huge. It's
like I think about
what we'll see in later seasons.
Yes, I think exactly. Like How I Met Your Mother's New York Street reminds me of the more modern Seinfeld Street.
What do you think, though, of this backlot? Do you like this little micro thing, or you prefer the later season one?
The later season one is so much nicer because you can see, they'll have a head-on shot of walking, and then you can see behind them all these other storefronts. They have cars going by. But this one's kind of nice. It brings me kind of a nostalgic feeling of, oh, look at that. They're getting more budget. They're kind of growing. So, it's a good time for this show right now.
It's a little bit of an illusion, too, because how Jerry and George are looking, we should set this up there, on one side of the street, looking across the street to at Babu's restaurant. Babu's standing outside trying to get people inside, but everyone's ignoring him. These two sides of the street were, in fact, on the same side of the street, but they were able to, through blocking and editing, of course, make it look like they're looking across the street. So in reality, Babu's restaurant is probably right next to George and Jerry. So right out the gate, George is complaining how women don't want nice. Which,
like he talks later on in a different episode. You want a colonel, a Kaiser, a czar. They want a little bit of that take charge, certainty, sprinkled with nice. But if you're all nice, which George is not, I don't think that's as attractive. I'll say that.
Yeah, and I guess it just varies person to person because people could confuse.
Oh no, I'm putting them all in a box. All women
or men. You could maybe confuse someone being nice with being underconfident or being, like you said, not a take charge kind of guy.
Why are you pointing at me, Matt?
Pointing at myself.
Oh, okay.
I totally disagree with this, though. I think deep down, everyone wants a nice guy. It's just whether or not those people misinterpret the niceness for
pushover.
Yeah, being a pushover. So while George is complaining about this, Jerry's watching this Pakistani man, as we come to know as Babu Bhatt, stand in front of his store. It's the grand opening of Babu Bhatt's Dream Cafe.
He's distracted by him.
Yes, very much so. He's almost like drawn to him. It's so funny. This restaurant, the Dream Cafe, has these multicolored flags, outside, just kind of to announce the grand opening. I don't know if you remember this, but a couple of years ago, I took you to a hibachi restaurant. At the time, I just moved here, and it says grand opening outside and has these flags.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. That hibachi restaurant is still there, but they still have the grand opening outside.
I remember that.
4 or 5 years ago.
Yep.
And
that's how you attract business.
Yeah. Well, at this point, the flags have all broken off, so it's just a white cord,
that's sad.
Going from the lamppost to the building. But
have you been back there?
I haven't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to revisit, even though we weren't blown away by it.
This is our own Dream Cafe.
Yes.
So Jerry hasn't seen one person go into the Dream Cafe since it opened, and as you mentioned, Vinny, he's just very kind of stuck on this. He's almost having a hard time paying attention to George. Mm-hmm. George goes on to wonder, what kind of sick society we live in where nice is bad. At this point, Jerry notices a smell, a fragrance, we should say. George says he's wearing some cologne, which
Manly.
Yeah, manly. Do you wear cologne?
No. I was going to ask you the same thing.
I got addicted to it about a year ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We
didn't
were,
know that.
my wife and I went up to this outlet mall in New York, and I bought some cologne there, and I started wearing it a few days, and I couldn't stop. Like every
Really?
day I had to put some on. But I don't really know what it does for me. Like, I'm not in the kind of profession where you need to wear cologne.
Yeah.
But that begs the question, what kind of profession do you need cologne?
I didn't even think it was for a profession. I thought it was just to attract, to have a nice smell as you're, interacting with people, whether it's social or.
Yeah.
I think more cologne as, I'm going on a date, I'm going to put on cologne or something like that.
Sure.
But I haven't worn cologne since grade school.
Grade school? You wore cologne
Well,
back
and
then?
like you're in like eighth
man.
grade and
Oh, yeah.
you're getting into girls. And you're like, I'm going to get cologne, But that was the last time I had cologne.
Well, Jerry's back to talking about this restaurant owner, Babu, and he thinks, his family's probably back in Pakistan, waiting for him to send back money. All in all, Jerry just feels really bad for this guy. And this is interesting, right? We're getting a little bit more of this, the return to the conscious, sensitive Jerry here.
Nice guy, Jerry.
Yeah, nice guy Jerry, which we haven't seen for... I mean, he's not a complete asshole, but
Oh, boy. Yeah.
he's just not the way he was from like season 1, early season 2. But I think we're getting a return to that.
Yeah. Temporarily.
Yeah, as we find out, maybe this...
Don't get too attached to nice guy, Jerry.
Yeah, he's maybe doing it for selfish reasons. So back to George, he explains that his girlfriend Monica is taking a course in education for her master's, and she wants George to take an IQ test for her research. And George compares himself to like a guinea pig.
Jerry kind of trails off. I've never been a guinea pig. I've been a sheep. I've been a toady. But this is another like quintessential Jerry thing where somebody's talking about their own subject, and Jerry is kind of in his own little world, and then he has these non sequiturs. Like I had a couple that I thought of. I've never really had a good pickle, to
Yes.
somebody's comment, or I had a dream where the hamburger was eating me. Just little things where he is in his own little world to his thoughts, and it comes out.
He's letting the... I don't think this is exactly a case of it, but he's letting his fellow actors sort of have the spotlight, and he just jumps in for a little joke here or there. But in a weird kind of in-universe way, George is aware of it for the first time, it seems like, and he's frustrated with them.
Yes.
He's like, I can't talk to you anymore, which I know you have said to me on many occasions.
Yep.
When I'm not listening or I'm just in my own world.
Yep.
I can't talk to you anymore.
All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're taking the IQ test.
Yeah, and he's gonna find out I'm a moron. People think I'm smart, but I'm not smart.
Who thinks you're smart?
I'm not gonna break 100 on this thing.
What thing?
You don't listen when people talk to you anymore.
Oh, the IQ thing. Yeah.
Sure, I have a low IQ. I'm lying about my SAT scores for 15 years.
What'd you get?
What I get, or what do I say I got?
What do you say?
I say 1409.
1409. That's a good score.
You're telling me.
What did you really get?
You're my friend, right?
Of course.
I tell you everything, right?
I hope so.
Well, this I take to the grave.
So first of all, if there's ever a time where I've identified with George Moore, it's right here, where when he says, "People think I'm smart, but I'm not." I'm
You're
like
a pharmacist.
I'm like, preach on, brother. No, but I feel this way all the time.
You're smart, though. You have a degree to back it up.
That's just a piece of paper. So there's that. And then Jerry says, what people? He's knocking George down a peg, right? In the way he says that?
Oh, sure.
I don't know.
No, yeah, he's being that... Again, he's nice. He cares about Babu, or at least we think he does, but he has no problem just ridiculing his friends.
Well, I wasn't sure if he was being sincere and just being like, who said that? Or,
Oh, no.
who said that?
Yeah.
No, okay. I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, so that's my fault.
I do think it's interesting, though, that we're getting this kind of like a newer side to George. I don't know if it's development or it's like de-evolving the character because, I'd argue in the earlier seasons, George isn't an idiot. Like,
No.
he says some dumb stuff. He lets his anger, his emotions get the better of him.
He's definitely got the neuroses.
Yes, that's for sure. But this is really the first episode where it comes out of his mouth, hey, I'm not a smart guy. And it got me thinking about later episodes of George, mainly like season 7, but more when Larry left, like season 8 and 9, George
Yeah.
really turns into an idiot. That's even a line in Curb, right? Where
Yep.
Jason Alexander and Larry David are talking, and Jason's like, he's an idiot, you know?
Hey, everybody, come see the idiot.
Right. It's just kind of weird to see this, what I'd argue would be the first step to de-evolving the character, or at least...
I have a feeling that there was a conscious decision made to make him less smart because it was funnier to have him be a moron. The only other thing that I kind of, that stuck out to me was I was a little bit surprised that George would not tell Jerry his score, and I assumed that was because it was funnier for him to end the scene with, well, this I take to the grave. But George shares everything with Jerry ad nauseum. They discuss it in such great detail that I would think Jerry would have to know George's true SAT score.
Well, he doesn't tell him his secret code.
That's true.
No Bosco. That and his SAT score are the two things he wants to keep private.
This is what he finds important.
Yeah, maybe because that's sort of that final piece, at least in George's mind, that Jerry could use against him. It's like Jerry. It's Batman and Superman here. Like, he doesn't want Batman to have any kryptonite. Just a random question before we move on. What the hell are Jerry and George just doing outside on the sidewalk?
Good point.
Kind of putting you on the spot.
No, I hadn't thought about it.
The only thing I could think of was they were walking back from Monk's, maybe.
Perhaps,
And
or are
before-
they meeting? What's?
Well, they're just there talking, and then we transition the next day into Jerry's apartment. So
True. They might have bumped into each other as Jerry was coming home from a set and
Maybe.
or a date.
Well, anyways, though, we cut to the next scene, as I mentioned, and we start off with a POV shot. It's during the day now of through some binoculars. Babu's still standing there. All these people are walking by. No one's giving him the time of day. And Jerry's just watching him up from his apartment window, 5 floors up. And he thinks no one's going in because, Babu's all over the place. He's serving Mexican, Italian, Chinese, which I didn't know it got that diverse. I thought it was just I thought it was mainly American foods, kind of like a diner, but...
Well, he's got the Franks and Beans.
Oh, the rigatoni.
So you got Italian, you got American.
The turkey.
The turkey.
Jerry's telling all of this to Elaine, who's at the table reading the paper, and she's confused. Like, why are you watching this guy suffer? And Jerry compares it to watching a spider struggling for survival on the toilet. Even though he won't make it, you kind of root for him.
Then you flush.
Well, it's a spider.
I love Jerry's delivery of that line.
Did you notice Glenn Padnick's laughter in the background? I think you really liked that joke, too.
I did not, but I'll have to pay attention for that.
Well, it's a spider.
I like hearing it. It's like comforting. Oh, Glenn Padnick, the
Hey.
Castle Rock exec, is...
Hey, everybody, Glenn's on set today.
Well, Elaine points out, and this makes sense, that people might not go in if they don't see other people inside, which is my deal all the time. There's a cafe near my place that it's always empty, and I feel bad. I want to go in and support them, but I'm kind of embarrassed because no one else is in there.
See, that's funny because that's the complete opposite of a movie theater. I like to be in an empty movie theater and have the place to myself. But why do you want to be in a crowded restaurant?
Yeah, that's a good
Or at least
point.
I guess see some people in there.
Well, I'm usually just going in to get like a cup of coffee, which really isn't that big a deal. But I don't know why that. Yeah, it embarrasses me for some reason. At this point, Elaine gets distracted by Jerry pulling that. I think we've brought this outfit up before. The light blue turtleneck. He pulls it above his nose and mouth.
She's just so annoyed by it. She's like, "Do you have to do that, Jerry? Don't do that. That's so annoying."
Bazooka Joe.
Yeah, why does she find this so annoying?
Maybe they used to do it when they dated.
Yeah, maybe. I loved Bazooka Joe gum growing up.
That's the yellow and blue wrapper, right?
Yeah, it has the comic inside.
Uh-huh.
It was like a little square, flat, really kind of hard, brittle piece of gum.
Yep.
But the comic was what it was all about. So George buzzes, and Jerry lets him up while Elaine... She read this Latin phrase in a book recently, casus belli. And this feels like something Larry David would do. Like Larry and Jerry read this Latin phrase, and they just started saying it a lot. That's what it feels like. But the expression, casus belli, is a Latin phrase which means to indicate an act that becomes like a reason, or at least a cause to go to war. So this is an argument for war.
before we go on, I really like the setup of the scene where it's just friends sitting around. It's the morning. They're having their coffee. They got the orange juice out, and Elaine's just reading the paper. It's so simple, and that's what people do. You know, it doesn't have to be this grand sitcom. Yeah. I don't know. So I thought the realism of that I enjoyed.
Just hanging out. Yeah, it's really nice. George enters and he's carrying some bagels, which I thought was interesting.
A whole bag of bagels.
H&H.
And a book that has the largest font on it, comically, which works, that says SAT prep book.
Oh, yeah. That's what they all look like, man. They all have that huge logo on it.
But even the crowd, even the audience picks up on it and starts laughing.
Mm-hmm. And Elaine notices at this point that George is wearing some cologne. She has a laugh, which I just find so interesting that everyone in this world thinks cologne is sort of silly. At this point, Jerry says, just randomly, the casus belli, and as does Elaine, and this sends George into sort of a frantic state to find out what it means, despite not wanting them to talk about him. He's like, stop talking about me. Stop worrying about the clone. What does this phrase mean? Is it about me? And I love this line from Jerry where he just says, why must you always be the focal point of attention? Why can't you be? Why can't you live? Which, he's flipping it back on George.
He's mocking George, yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, they get to talking about George's upcoming IQ test.
This woman he's dating is making him take this IQ test for this course.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, fun. IQ tests are totally bogus. They prove nothing.
You'll do well. You're smart.
No, see, he's not smart. People think he's smart, but he's not.
What'd you get on your SATs?
It varies.
I don't even know my IQ.
Huh. Mine's 145.
145?
Get out of here.
You get out of here.
You get out of here.
Maybe you should take the test for me.
Boy, that'd be something, cheating on an IQ test. Hey, remember in college when you passed LETIC, the test out the window? You became a legend after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I really had some guts back then. Why don't we do it again?
What?
You could take the IQ test for me. I could pass it to you out of a window. We could do it. She lives on the first floor.
You serious?
Why not?
Where would I take the test?
I don't know. She lives right around the corner. You could take it here or go to the coffee shop.
No, it'd be too noisy.
Take it at the Dream Cafe. You won't hear a peep.
Hey, what do you think?
Hey, I love a good caper.
Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? A caper. Huh?
You'll do it?
What the hey?
Beautiful! Yeah. Oh, sorry.
First of all, Julia's laugh is contagious. And when Jerry says, get out of here, to Elaine's 145.
You get out of here.
Right. I love that their friends are going back and forth. If you don't believe what they're saying, give them a get out of here. And I love that the friend comes back with, you get out of here. Get out of here. And that just makes her crack up.
I feel like Jerry and Elaine have we've talked about this, they're exes who are still friends, then they date for a while, now they're kind of back to being friends. But I feel like they found that really nice middle spot where they can be flirtatious with each other, but it's purely as friends.
Mm-hmm. So another thing, when Jerry says, hey, remember when you passed LETIC, the test out the window? You became a legend after that. Did George and Jerry go to the same college?
I didn't even think of that.
Because we know Jerry went to Queens College. He always wears that shirt. Not always. He wears it at times. But the implication of this line makes me think Jerry and George went to the same college, unless this was just a story that George told. But isn't it set up like they went to the same university?
Jerry's like, you became a legend after that. Makes it seem like he heard this story on campus.
Yeah.
You know what? I think they did.
Mark it down?
Yeah, mark it down.
There we go.
And it makes sense, too. I mean, if George is from Queens, to go to Queens College.
True. And we contend that they're the same age.
Mm-hmm.
So that means they went to the same high school, and they went to the same college.
Mm-hmm.
George got into podiatry school.
Okay. I also do like the line from Elaine where she's like, that's what it is, a keeper. So cute.
Yeah, and that's another thing is Elaine really seems to be swayed by Jerry still. Because she asks, she feels the need to seek out Jerry's opinion. She's like, well, I don't know, Jerry, what do you think?
Yeah, good
I love a
point.
good caper. And she's, as soon as Jerry is on board, she's like, yeah, that's what it is. So that's the final thing for her to be on board.
We can get into this later. That's when I was originally going to bring it up, but it feels appropriate here too. Why is Elaine doing this? Because Elaine has helped out George in the past with dropping the Mickey in Rick Ludwin's drink in the Revenge. Levitan. God,
I did it again.
I was thinking,
You really don't like Rick Ludwin, do you?
There's Rick Ludwin. There's Rick Barr.
And there's Rick Levitan.
Then there's Rick Levitan. But Rick Levitan, George's old boss at the real estate company, when she helps him out there because she knows, hey, this isn't a good guy. But we've kind of seen in episodes from season 2 and mainly season 3 that Elaine doesn't really like George that much, or at least she doesn't really click with him. So I can't understand why Elaine would ever help George lie to his girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like in a big bad way. This isn't like, I don't know, George had a I don't know, dictionary or calculator, a little aid for the test. Like he's having someone actually take it, which makes me think that Elaine, again, we're getting this theme of people being nice. I think she's purely doing this for herself, like her own selfish reason.
Well, I think she's very proud of the fact that her IQ is 145, and she wants to display that,
And we know she's a clever chickadee. Elaine
yes, she
is probably the smartest out of the 4.
Yeah. 10 of the finest finishing schools on the Eastern Seaboard.
She went to Tufts.
Yep.
Don't talk to me about hardship. So essentially in this scene, we get the setup for the episode. It's really tight, which I like too. We haven't gotten much into Jerry's subplot with Babu, but this George Elaine thing it's very simple, and it's a good one. Next scene is at the Dream Cafe, and we get this really sad shot of Babu just looking out the window.
Poor guy.
Yeah, poor guy. He's just looking for someone, and I feel like we have to play the entire Babu clip here. He needs a proper introduction.
Welcome to the Dream Cafe.
Well, I've been looking forward to it.
Oh, how did you hear about us?
People are talking.
Smoking or non-smoking? We are proud to offer both.
Non-smoking would be great.
Very good. My name is Babu Bhatt. I will be your waiter. A steaming hot folded face cloth for your pleasure.
Thank you.
Our specials are tacos, moussaka, and franks and beans.
Well, what do you recommend, my good fellow?
Oh, the turkey.
Well, the turkey it'll be. And may I say you have a splendid establishment here, my friend. I'm sure you'll flourish at this location for many, many years.
You're a very kind man. Very kind. Thank you. Very kind.
Very kind. I am a kind man. Who else would do something like this? Nobody. Nobody thinks about people the way I do. All right, snap out of it, you stupid jerk. You're eating a turkey sandwich. What do you want, a Nobel Prize?
So we touched on Brian George a little bit in our intro. He is playing Babu in the cafe. He comes back in the Visa as well as the finale. Again, like I said, he's been in almost everything. You'll always see his face in something. Did you know he was in a Jake and the Fat Man?
No.
I feel like Seinfeld's just poaching actors from Jake and the Fat Man. And that's how they gain the ratings from them.
Well, for any of our listeners who are new to the show, we've brought up Jake and the Fat Man a lot, at least early on, because they were the show that was always stealing.
They were always beating Seinfeld out in the ratings.
Yes, they were always beating Seinfeld. So I think they became sort of a thorn in the side.
But it's kind of this joke now when if I see somebody was in the Fat Man and Seinfeld, I have to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know this. Did you know that Brian George was in the Bubble Boy movie?
Oh, with Jake Gyllenhaal?
The Jake Gyllenhaal vehicle?
Oh, God. What was the movie called? The Boy in the Bubble?
It's just called Bubble Boy.
Oh, Bubble. Yeah. Oh, Boy in the Bubble. Maybe that's John Travolta.
He lives in a bubble.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I didn't see. That's when he has like the spiky black hair and kind of like a striped shirt.
Now, I haven't seen the movie.
Me
and
either.
It's just funny to think of Jake Gyllenhaal in that role, but yeah.
I love that people as successful as him can have Bubble Boy on their resume.
Yeah. According to the script, other items on the menu were lox and eggs, souvlaki, a fajita, stuffing and cranberry sauce, shepherd's pie, and fondue. So
That's great.
They really did have a little bit of everything.
I kind of wish they included this just to show how random it is. But
yeah.
What does he list in the episode? Franks and beans, tacos, turkey.
Yeah, the tacos.
Moussaka.
Rigatoni.
Yeah, so it's diverse enough as it is. I do like the inner monologue here with Jerry, too. This is something that comes up a lot in the earlier seasons, especially with Jerry.
Uh-huh.
And I like to see its return here. They always handle the voiceover inner monologues really well. Like they're never used sort of for a cheap joke or anything
willy-nilly.
like that. Yeah.
I thought I commented as well in my notes that I think they could have used it more and got away with it. I think it would have
in
been
the show as a whole, or
yes,
this episode?
Yes. Because the whole point of the show was to get into the head of a comedian and see how they think and how they operate.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like having Jerry, and he's putting himself down. He's like, "What are you, stupid jerk? What do you want, a Nobel Prize?"
Some great facial expressions from him too, as he's like acting to his voiceover. What do you think of Babu though? We kind of talked about him already, but we get his first introduction here. Would you consider him one of the all-time greats?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In only 3 episodes.
Yeah.
He definitely left a mark.
Yeah, he definitely left a mark. You know, I don't know if I'd put him in like my top 10 of favorite characters per se.
Perhaps
but,
we need to make a list.
Yeah, we might have to. But it's very likable though. And if you ever see like a mural of all the great characters, he has to be in it.
You mean like that Beatles Seinfeld crossover?
Yeah, if anyone like hasn't seen this yet, check out our Facebook and Twitter page. A Reddit user, I don't have your name in front of me at the moment, sorry, but
it's the album cover of the Sgt. Pepper album, but every face has been removed and replaced with a Seinfeld character. Most of them are characters from the show, but then there's little additions that just bring it home, like George's mother as a little doll is on there, the photoshopped head of Kruger that the photo clerk had to draw from memory, and that's damn good. That's in there. Sugar Ray Leonard's in there. I'm looking to see if Babu is in there. He is. He's right in the middle, in between George and Kramer, and it's actually my wallpaper. So
nice. Next scene is in Monica's bedroom in her apartment, and George is gently nudging her out the door so he can take the IQ test by himself away from her. Do you have any interesting info on the actress that plays Monica?
The actress is Dawn Arneman. She hasn't had any acting credits since 1997. The only movie that kind of stuck out to me, which I actually really like, is the movie Dave with Kevin Kline, where he is the president.
That's a good one.
She was in that. And then the only other note I have is that another actress auditioned for the role, Felicity Huffman. What is she? What do you know her from?
You know, she's a name I actually haven't heard in a while, but she, I think for a while, was pretty well known for Desperate Housewives.
There you go. I see her face now. Yeah, I recognize her.
Yeah, and she was in a movie, I remember, called Transamerica when we were in college, I think.
Yes.
Or maybe it was after college. It got like some award buzz. I remember that, but that would have been interesting. Like another, actress that you still see working today, kind of cutting their teeth, as it were, on Seinfeld. You see that a lot, especially in the later seasons. It's funny how earlier in the episode, George was saying women don't like nice. Monica seems really nice, though. Like
she does.
There's nothing about her where you're like, ooh, she's really cold, or she's just as cruel as George thinks he should be.
Well, it's all in his head. He's making it out to be much worse. And she even reassures him, you're making too much of this. IQ tests don't mean anything. And George, being the little shit that he is, brings this all on himself. He's saying, are you kidding? This is the best tool we have today of measuring a person's intelligence. So he completely brings this entire mess upon himself.
Excellent point. Yeah, this is all just more an example of George self-sabotaging. So he eventually gets her out the door. And at this point, I love this. I love just the setup, like the design of this, having Elaine right outside the window.
She's
they're
pacing
like, back and forth.
And you see her look with her eye.
Yeah, just glancing over her shoulder. Great design and just great concept having this apartment on the first floor. So she's been, as you mentioned, Vinny, pacing back and forth for at least 20 minutes here. And George gives her the test, says, all right, get back 20 before 3 with a completed test. And, don't settle for 145. You can do better. Yeah. So George is getting a little greedy here. And then we bounce back to the Dream Cafe. And at this point, Jerry's sitting at his table. He's drinking some water, which Babu promptly refills. And we get the first, thank you, Babu.
Thank you, Babu.
Jerry gives him some compliments and whatnot. He might not know it, but he's digging himself a hole. Elaine arrives, and she's a bit frantic. She has George's tests. Babu tries to offer her some specials, but, she just wants tea and toast.
Is that a go-to for Elaine?
I guess. It seems really simple, won't upset your stomach. But Jerry's like, come on, eat something.
Elaine! Get something.
So she gets she like looks at the menu, rigatoni.
She does that line again, that roller coaster delivery that she's known for. Oh, I'll have the rigatoni. You know?
Yeah. And we're getting a moment here that we brought up before we started recording. Julia makes so many interesting faces this episode.
She's so good at contorting her face.
We'll post this on our Facebook and Twitter page, but there's one moment here where she's opening up the envelope with George's test, and she just sticks her tongue out, and she's like, "Wah!"
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. So she starts filling it out, and this is when Kramer arrives. He sort of just strolls in wearing the jacket.
There's a slow, sporadic clap from the audience.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
So they're starting to take notice of Kramer and starting to appreciate him, but this is the first instance where you can hear some claps coming.
He could afford to get a lot of applause here, just in terms of his character walking from the door to the table. What I'm getting at is this would become sort of an issue from behind the scenes for the actors to deal with audience applause. How do you pace things out if you have to just stand there like an idiot while the audience is just clapping like crazy?
One of the bloopers has Kramer enter, and he closes the door. The crowd starts clapping, and he goes, "Uh-oh." And then he starts to do his line, and he flubs it. And he looks at the audience. He's like, "Yeah, you guys done screwed me up. Now I got to do it over again."
I love that too. That they don't really know how to deal with it. Whereas again, I feel like on other sitcoms, you can have the audience go crazy, and I just get this sense that the actors like it. I think of a lot of Fox shows like Married with Children. Yeah. Great shows, don't get me wrong, but just shows where the audience is interacting maybe a little bit too much with the actors. So Kramer joins them. He starts talking about the jacket he's wearing from the parking garage, how a guy left it at his mom's place 2 years ago, and she hasn't spoken to him since, and now he wants it back. And it's interesting, if Kramer has the Kavorka, if he has this special power, it's almost like this jacket is his, I don't know, it's like his Superman suit,
Yeah.
He's not giving it back, of course, because a lot of women go out with him because of it. So, why else would his mom have gone out with this guy?
Is that anything?
What
the
do you
fact
mean?
that he brings up his mother, like his mother was attracted to the jacket. Is there something Oedipal there?
Yeah, like an Oedipus Rex complex going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. There's something weird with Kramer and his mom with Babs where they had, he even says at one point, he gets kind of emotional. He's like, I don't even want to bring up my childhood.
Yeah.
I think there was something going on there, but...
Okay.
So Elaine moves to another table, and at this point, Kramer asks Jerry if there's a statue of limitations on the jacket.
Statute.
What?
It's a statute of limitations, not a statue.
I think you're wrong. So we get into this whole conversation. Is it statue or statute? And Kramer, I don't know why he's after Elaine so much this scene, or this episode really, but he's like, come on, Elaine, tell me what you think.
He even asks Elaine to settle it. He's like, Elaine will know, Mm-hmm. And then once she finally says it's statute, I think you're wrong.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. This actually reminds me of you, because you remember when you said you're a kid and you hear something, and then it becomes ingrained in your subconscious, and you'll tell me, "Oh, I thought that it was this when I was a kid. I thought it was statue."
You're like, that's not even doesn't make any sense. Say it.
Oh, that's because you're an idiot. Is that what you're gonna say?
I thought you were gonna say that. You were waiting to get it out. We should mention here that Babu comes in with a steaming hot towel for Kramer.
Welcome. A steaming hot face cloth for your...
On the DVDs that we watched before we record the show, there was an interview with, what's the actor's name that played Babu again?
Brian George.
How he didn't know what to do. Well, honestly, he wasn't expecting Michael to react that way when he handed him the towel. And he really had no idea what to expect from it. So he just kind of stood there in place and watched Michael sort of fall all over the place.
I think that's how the average person would react to that.
Yeah. Next scene is at Monica's bedroom. We're back there, and she's trying to get into the room. The door's locked. George is just sitting on the bed reading The New Yorker. The New Yorker. Which is definitely a step up from the Cracked magazine
Cracked,
he was
yeah.
reading. I think it's the couch when he's supposed to be reading Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Right. Well, actually, no, it's a digression. Because he's reading New Yorker now, and then he's reading Cracked later on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sorry, man, we're all over the place. This is tough. So next scene is at the Dream Cafe, and Babu is singing while Elaine is taking the test. Here's another long clip for you.
If you don't mind. Seth, okay.
Don't be sorry.
Oh, man. Look at this. I'm out of time anyway.
Forgive me, please.
Go ahead. I'll take care of it.
Please, I'm very sorry. Tell your friends.
It's all right. She was cheating anyway.
You're very kind, man.
Babu, you're Pakistani, right?
Yes, Pakistani, yes.
Babu, may I say something?
Of course, you're very smart, man. I listen.
I am not a restaurateur by any means, but it occurred to me that perhaps you might serve some dishes from your native Pakistan, as opposed to, say, the Franks and Beans, for example.
But there are no Pakistani people here.
Doesn't matter. You would have the only authentic Pakistani restaurant in the whole neighborhood.
Yes. You see everything, don't you?
Well, you know, not everything. I do what I can.
I closed down today, and when I open again, it will be old Pakistani restaurant. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're a very special person. Very special.
I am such a great guy. Who else would have gone to the trouble to help this poor immigrant? I am special. My mother was right. Of course, I've never had Pakistani food. How bad could it be?
Two things to note about this scene. An earlier draft of the script had Elaine getting even more distracted. She had a homeless customer come in who was shouting repeatedly about alimony. And then he left with, yeah. What was the other thing he yelled in that episode?
Potato salad.
Tuberculosis. And then
Leroy.
there you go. Then the homeless guy left without paying. Apparently they had auditions for the homeless guy, but this part was cut prior to filming. And the only other thing I have to add to the scene is it ends with Jerry saying, "I've never had Pakistani food. How bad could it be?" But if you think back to the jacket, Alton Pennis takes Jerry, George, and Elaine for a little Pakistani.
You're not afraid of a little spice, are you?
Yeah. So I completely forgot about that. So great catch. Jerry did have Pakistani.
That food at one point.
Unless for some reason he ended up. Well, no, they said they had a good time at dinner, so they did go for Pakistani.
Yeah, little contradiction. We kind of like to fix these little issues with continuity, but it's not that big a deal. You can just assume when he was out to eat, maybe he didn't have anything.
Just a salad.
Just a salad.
All right, let's take a short break.
Well, you know, we're Jewish, and so the kids, then they want the Christmas tree, as I did when I was a kid, and I drove my mother crazy wanting that Christmas tree, and you know, they wouldn't give it to me. And so one day my mother says, this is a true story, she says, all right, you know what? We'll have a Hanukkah bush. You can't have a Christmas tree.
Hanukkah bush. I've heard of that.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
She says, we're going to have a Hanukkah bush. And I say, fantastic, a Hanukkah bush. Okay, well, where is it? When are we going to get it? And she goes up to the front door. She kind of cracks it a little bit. She goes, yeah, I think that's it over there. That's the one. Well, we got to decorate it. We got to get lights. We got to get balls. And no, we're not going to decorate it.
No, we're just going to let it grow. And then we'll beat it with a stick later. Okay, we're back.
So we're back at Monica's bedroom here through the window. Elaine is speaking to George through the open window while he's looking at the IQ test. It's covered in what I assume is tomato sauce from the rigatoni and a little bit of coffee.
Probably.
I love this line between the two of them where Elaine says, Babu Bot did it. And George goes, Babu Bot? Like
it's made up or something.
He doesn't
Who
get
is this
it.
character?
Yeah, love that. So George doesn't know what he's going to do. Monica calls him from the other side of the door and says, "Hey, your time's up." So George just like closes the window and just kind of like waves Elaine away. Like, get out of here.
Here you go.
How did you do?
Piece of cake.
What happened to the test?
What? Oh, I spilled some food on it.
Food? What food?
What are you talking about?
Where did you get food?
From my pocket.
Your pocket?
I had a sandwich in my pocket.
And coffee?
Yeah, had some coffee. Yeah.
Where did you get the coffee?
Where did I get the coffee? Where do you think I got the coffee? At the grocery store.
How did you get there?
I walked.
How did you get out of the apartment? I didn't see you leave.
I climbed out the window.
You climbed out the window?
Of course.
Why didn't you go out the door?
The door? Why would I go out the door? The window's right here.
You're a fascinating man, George Costanza.
This is like George, a George in his natural habitat, you know, having to lie. It's really seeing him at his best.
I have this being a defining moment for him, or just a definitive George scene, because he is caught in this bald-faced lie. He knows he's screwed, but yet he's going to go down with the ship, and he's going to settle that lie. Each question that Monica asks him, he gives her the most concise answer. You know, he doesn't elaborate any more than he has to, but he just sells it. Oh, I spilled some coffee on it. Where'd you get the sandwich? From my pocket. Well, you know, it's
well, as he says, it's not a lie if you believe it.
That's true.
So, is he ever caught in another situation where he lies so blatantly but so well?
When he has sex on his desk with the cleaning woman. Was that wrong? Or no, actually, no. That he's open to that.
Yeah, he's caught, so he has to tell the truth.
How about when he works for Penske? No?
Yeah, as you mentioned before, this is just so. It's just him, one other person. How the hell are you going to explain this? Apparently, the pre-production script had George claiming he had thrown up on the test, which that might be a better lie.
He could have sold it more, and she would have understood that immediately.
However, though, where did all the puke go?
He cleaned it up.
With what?
I went to the market and got some cleaning supplies.
Next scene is at Jerry's apartment, and he's, again, perched by his window watching or checking out Babu's place. It's now at this point closed for renovation since Jerry suggested he should make it all Pakistani. Jerry's feeling pretty good about himself. He's sort of patting himself on the back. Most people would walk right by. I'm going to do something about it.
And again, feeding into that Jerry ego, Elaine is saying, "You're very special." As she's reading her magazine, won't even bother to look up.
I think Elaine's a little nervous about what happened with the IQ test. Like, perhaps. She's feeling nervous, a little bad, but...
What? Can you see what she's reading?
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, she's reading a dictionary.
Is that... Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm. As you do.
Yeah.
But Kramer enters and tells Jerry that, hey, if anyone stops by looking for him, you don't know where I am.
Of course, I always do. Kramer's carrying a bowling ball bag when he enters.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
You only see it for a brief moment.
Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Elaine says that Kramer should just give the guy the jacket, but Kramer says, I'll have to kill me to get it, which I thought was a little extreme, but he likes the jacket.
Hey, if it helps him pick up women.
So at this point, Jerry sees George from his window and shouts down asking how he did on the test, and this is what he hears.
85!
What?
85, Jerry! 85 IQ!
I always found it interesting how they can shout at each other from 5 floors up.
Yeah.
But
I love this. It's so good.
Elaine looks pretty shocked hearing that 85 score, and I guess this is maybe when she gets more nervous than she appeared earlier.
Yeah. She definitely looks flummoxed now, knowing George is coming up.
What goes so well with George being upset, shouting 85, is how happy Jerry is.
He's tickled by it.
It's like, well.
And then he makes that great line. He's like, I'm no genius, but by my calculations, he'll be here any second. Now he's sticking it to Elaine.
Oh, yeah. So good. He also brings up it could be gender biased, right? A lot of questions about hunting and testicles.
And that made me think of that interview with Larry when he said he had to work the sensors each week. I'm just imagining Larry saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna need the one testicle this week. Just the one testicle. No breast, but I need the one testicle."
At this point, George arrives, not looking happy.
Oh, hello, Professor.
George, I cannot
Please.
believe. No, there's got to be a mistake.
You should have seen her face. It was the exact same look my father gave me when I told him I wanted to be a ventriloquist.
But in 85.
Listen, there were too many distractions there. Babu, whatever his name was, and Kramer. I couldn't concentrate.
It was a madhouse.
Jerry, it was. Let me take it again.
Oh, forget it.
Oh, come on, come on. I'll guarantee you 140. What do you have to lose?
You could do worse.
No, come on. I guarantee it.
All right, I'll ask her.
Okay. Now, where am I going to take it?
Take it here. I'll leave. There'll be no distractions.
George wanted to be a ventriloquist?
Yes, we touched on this briefly, but yeah.
That's
It
incredible.
fits George to want to be a ventriloquist, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
The only thing I took away from the scene, I do like how Jerry made a reference to Planet of the Apes when he said it was a madhouse. And I like when shows do that, when they make pop culture references, or at least something that's as mainstream as Planet of the Apes, you know, because you identify with characters making these references because that's what you do with your friends.
Sure, of course.
Versus, I don't know how that's different though than Kramer making the "It's Hammer Time" reference. Is that more likely to come and go versus Planet of the Apes, which is a movie that's been popular for decades?
Yeah, I mean that's that line too. Like it's a madhouse. It's not as bonky on the head, kind of like check out this topical reference. I think it's typical for pop songs and whatnot to really be products of the time. Whereas Planet of the Apes, at least to this point, 23 years later, it's a classic at that point.
Okay.
This is safe territory to reference. So at the next scene, we're back at the Dream Cafe. It's almost the same shot of Babu from before, looking out the window.
Yep. He's got a little different demeanor on his face though this time.
Yeah, he was sort of he was sad last time, but I think it was more like desperate. This time he's just defeated.
But there's some anger to him too, and I think when he sees Jerry, he sees red.
So the whole place is fixed up. It has this. It's actually kind of charming. It's nice. It's like this, Pakistani decor, but the place is still empty. And when Jerry enters, he's so cocky, and I like that this totally just backfires on someone like Jerry. Mm-hmm. Like you don't know what's good for this guy. You don't know what's good for anyone really, but yourself. Jerry does apologize here though for not. I'm sorry I wasn't here for the grand opening. I was out of town for about a week. I forgot that so much time had elapsed between these two scenes.
Well, yeah, he had to do renovations, and then, and Jerry must have gone out of town for shows.
Now, do you think that's true? Jerry was out of town, or do you think he just...
Oh, yeah, I think that's true.
He wants to tell Babu what to change, but he doesn't really care enough to be there?
No. I think he was actually out of town.
Yeah.
The only thing that stood out to me was I say quite often when I'm with an acquaintance and they kind of show me something, I'll say, oh, it has a certain indefinable charm. I always come out with that for some reason. It's fun to say. Try it.
At this point, Babu is not as cheerful as he used to be, and he even brings up, he kind of gets to the issue later. He's like, I listened to you. I did what you told me. When he asks Jerry if he wants to eat, I can't tell if Jerry's trying to help Babu here, like his spirits, or if Jerry's just kind of, got his head up his ass, where he's
I think it's the latter.
Yeah. Babu, it's I want you to get back there, and what does he say?
You tell that chef I want the works.
Babu's like, very good. Oh. He pulls that chair out.
Slams it down.
You even get a reaction from the audience.
Very good.
Well, we get a brief shot of Elaine taking the test at Jerry's apartment, uninterrupted. George is just pacing around Monica's bedroom. And then we go to a little bit of stand-up.
The IQ test, they always have that sample question at the beginning where they show you how to fill in the circle. This should be the first elimination point right there. Anybody goes outside that circle, yeah, you want to come with us, please? Yeah, you're done. Your test is over. You went outside the circle, okay?
It's a sentence of stand-up. So quick.
My only note on this was, like...
I mean, I thought it was appropriate for the episode, but I guess I needed 10 seconds to fill.
Yeah, it's bizarre, right? I guess you have to show a passage of time somehow. By the time we get back to the apartment, Elaine is done with the test. I was thinking of you because of all the tests you've had to take recently for pharmacy school. You must feel like that. Like, you drop your pencil, you want to stretch.
That
you're
stretch
so tense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it must feel
I know
so
that
good.
feel.
But at this point, Kramer barges through the door and begins locking it behind him. And he's like, shh, quiet, quiet. All of a sudden, there's some, banging on the door. And... a man shouting for Kramer.
Hey, Kramer! I saw you go in there. I'm not leaving until I get that jacket.
It's good.
That voice that he does, what is that?
I don't know. I want to find out who that is, though.
It's Dec McKenzie. Jerry Standen is doing that voice.
Really?
He's credited as Angry Man.
Huh.
So I have his whole list of credits here, and they're in order of his appearances. He played Bill in The Revenge. So you might recognize him as... There's a couple that he really stands out as. But The Revenge, he plays Bill. The Cafe is Angry Man. In The Trip Part 2, he's reporter number 2. In The Pitch, he's the TMI long-distance operator that Jerry hangs up on. At the airport, he's security guard. In The Outing, he plays Scott. The Sniffing Accountant, he plays Mitch. So when this is where I remember him from. When Kramer goes into the bar and he's like, I have a beer, Charlie. And then the bartender says, the name is Mitch. That's Dec McKenzie. He's doing the voice of Angry Man. He's also the bartender in The Fire. He's the man in the video store in The Couch. He's the delivery man in The Doorman. How about those Knicks? And he plays the customers being robbed in The Maestro, man in the coffee shop in The Money, and in The Muffin Tops, he plays Man.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, but he's Jerry Standen.
Yeah, he's got a pretty big presence in Seinfeld, other than being Jerry Standen.
Yeah.
That, even though I know what he looks like, his face, got a good face. The voice, though, in this episode completely blew me away.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It kind of reminded me of the actor who does the Bubble Boy's voice, really gravelly. And I thought at first listen that it was him. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to look it up, and that's when I saw Dec McKenzie.
Very cool. At this point, this is when Kramer is trying to throw this guy off by going into Jerry's apartment, but he, of course, as you mentioned, saw Kramer go in there. And Elaine's dilemma, hey, I have to get this IQ test to George, but Kramer won't let her leave.
It's a stressful situation. He's trying to hide. He's trying to make sure the door's locked. As soon as Elaine says, I had to take it again, Kramer shifts from that stressful situation to, why'd you have to take it again? He's immediately back to that inquisitive, like the scene when they were in the Dream Cafe prior, when he's like, why are you taking a test for George?
That's what I'm saying. He's so into Elaine this episode. I don't know why.
I know why.
There we go. That line, though, from Dec McKenzie where he says, I'm not leaving until I get that jacket. And before Kramer shouts never, he sort of contemplates like what he's about to say. Like he's sort of scared. He's like, never. It's just had to be there.
I like it.
Next scene.
We're all there.
Next scene is at Monica's bedroom. George, again, nervously waiting for Elaine at the window. No sign of her when Monica knocks on the bedroom door again. And he's screwed. If you thought it was tough to lie last time, this is impossible.
So what do you like? So she opens the door, and what do you do when you inevitably? I'm getting more stuffed as we're going on.
I can tell.
George opens the door. Monica comes in and says, well, and what do we all do when we want to prolong or avoid the inevitable? He puts out that handshake for no reason. That struck me as very, very funny.
And his go-to excuse here is, well, I went out the window to get another cup of coffee.
The damnedest thing.
Yeah. She just stares at him. You can tell she knows he's full of it. Almost like she was expecting this to happen. Like, I get a weird vibe that she knows something was up from last time.
How could she not?
Come on. Next scene, we're back at the Dream Cafe. Jerry's, it makes me really hungry. He's got all these, plates filled with these Pakistani dishes on it. Has his napkin tucked into his shirt.
Yeah. Like a king.
Like an asshole. will.
Babu, 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 and he's motioning for him to come. I got to tell you, I never do this, but the shrimp.
It's a little string. Very Larry David here. This
chicken? Yes.
Came felt like it was lifted right from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
You shut up! You make me change restaurant, but nobody come. You say make Pakistani. Babu Bhat have only Pakistani restaurant. But where are people? You see people? Show me people. There are no people.
You know, I think I'll just take the check.
You bad man. You very, very bad man.
Bad man? Could my mother have been wrong?
Again, we touch on the bloopers a lot in this show, and it's the best thing about Seinfeld to cure. If you're ever sad or just had a rough day, you pop in bloopers, it will immediately perk you up. But there is a blooper from this episode where Brian George is sitting, in the chair as Babu across the room, and Jerry keeps motioning to him, Babu, Babu, and he cannot keep it together. He is cracking up. And if you look at Brian George's face in this scene, it's like you can see past his face. It looks like he's trying so hard not to burst. So I cannot help but think of that when I'm watching this, and it makes it that much more enjoyable.
Jerry's doing the whole. There needs to be a term for it where he's trying to bring his lips together, but he can't do it. There's that smile is breaking through. That's when you know a joke, I think, is really good, when Jerry can't keep it together. So we're back at Monica's bedroom. Elaine arrives at the window and gives it a little tap for George, but enough time has passed that I guess George has already left, and Monica's the only one there. She answers the window, and they just cut right through the BS.
Is that the test? Oh, this. Yeah. Here you go. Thanks. I hope you do a lot better this time. Actually, I think I did. The first time I couldn't really cut.
So I was wondering at this point, how did Elaine get out of Jerry's apartment? Did she go down the fire escape? But as we see in the next scene, I guess Kramer gave up the jacket, right?
Yeah.
So we're back on the sidewalk. Next scene, it's at night. Dream Cafe is closed for good.
And it appears to be a little cold because Jerry and George are wearing their jackets.
Right. Kramer doesn't have his. There are a couple of guys loading tables and chairs into their pickup truck. And made me wonder if one of these guys is Babu's brother from the Visa.
Yeah. Pakistan, yeah.
I am his brother.
Too fruity.
Yeah, right. I don't think he had a name. I think it was just Babu's brother.
I am his brother? Yeah, I think you're right.
At this point, though, since it's so cold, Kramer's just like, I'm going to head upstairs. So he leaves. Elaine shows up, though. This is sort of... It's weird. It's kind of shoehorned in here, but it works for this episode. She's like, hey, I just ran into Monica, and I found out what my IQ score is.
151.
She is so happy with herself.
151. It's a good score.
Just has his hands in his pockets.
Just kick George in the balls, why don't you?
Oh, it's so good. Just George being just defeated, and he's not angry at Elaine. He doesn't want to argue with her. What's done is done.
Yeah.
Just live with it. And then we get this, I don't know where you fall on this, but the determining where they're going to go eat. Jerry's like, Mexican. George suggests Italian. Elaine wants Chinese. And Jerry says, it would be great. And you get the freeze frame on the three of them. Where do you fall on this? I know you like...
I do.
Or at least these kind of endings don't bug you.
No, they don't. I like, because this whole thing started with this Dream Cafe that had an assortment of dishes from various cuisines, and this is the exact... the very thing they wanted at the end of the episode is what they had in the beginning. So I like it.
And then we get our closing stand-up.
It's tough to do a good deed. Let's look at your professional good deed doers. Your Lone Rangers, your Supermen, your Batmen, your Spider-Men, your Elastic Men. They're all wearing disguises, masks over their faces, secret identities, don't want people to know who they are. It's too much aggravation. Superman, thanks for saving my life, but did you have to come through my wall? I'm renting here. They got a security deposit. What am I supposed to do?
My only note that I have is, that's cute.
Oh, man, you're fading.
No, when he talks about Superman, thanks for saving my life, but did you have to come through my wall? I'm renting here. I got a security deposit. What am I supposed to do?
He turned more into Seinfeld towards the end there.
No, but it's cute. Like the idea of, I guess I'm thinking of the Family Guy skit where it might be a Dane Cook stand-up when he talks about the Kool-Aid guy breaking through his wall.
Dane Cook.
Yeah, that's a bit on one of his albums. But it's like, my dad's coming home at 4. What are you gonna do with this this big hole in the wall you left, you jerk? You know. So that's what kind of got me thinking of Superman busting a hole in his wall and renting. So that, again, that's cute. That's what I got.
I like the stand-up. This is definitely his best, I think, from the episode. It seems to be the most. It's like a slice of stand-up as opposed to let me shoehorn this thing in here.
A Wallstein? It's I like that it's got
it's a slice of life.
You got it. He got it. Okay.
All right, we're done here.
Are we done?
So this is rough. We might need to re-record this episode.
Oh, shut up.
No, it's my fault. Ratings?
Ratings.
So, what do you think?
I really enjoyed this. I was watching it. There were some moments that made me genuinely laugh out loud. The biggest, the most glaring thing for me was that Kramer was not in it. He had a really small little part, but that is going to be set up for some nice payoffs later on because we're not done with that jacket yet, contrary to what you might think. But I like that this was very Elaine and George centric. I love seeing Babu in there.
I think we're getting into that territory where these are, they're just good episodes. They might not be the classics we talk about, but they're still great nonetheless.
I used to be more articulate with these rating things. For some reason, I didn't care for Monica, the character. She was kind of bland, and she just kind of took what George gave her. You know, not maybe that's what they wanted, but that kind of stuck out to me. I really enjoy the scenes of Jerry eating in the cafe, and as we touched on, he's acting like the emperor, and he's being very pompous. Babu, Babu. So it was nice to see Jerry in that vein. So anyway, I'm rambling here, so I do apologize for that, but I did enjoy this episode. So I'm gonna give this episode
an 85 IQ.
I'll give it like an 8.5. How about that?
Sounds good. Feel the same way you do. Wish there was more Kramer. Monica didn't really do it for me, but she didn't really have that much to work with either. I always feel kind of not bad. I mean, you appear on Seinfeld, it's fantastic, but you kind of wish she had a more memorable role.
Yeah.
At least she had a very memorable scene with George, as you mentioned, the lying scene. But it's really cool to be seeing a character like Babu, or at least being introduced to him, because we will see him again. We've brought up a few times how we've met these fantastic characters, yet there's just no way for the writers to come up with a way to bring them back, which is totally understandable. There's nothing worse than like shoehorning in like a guest actor.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's
get him back.
Oh, we got to get him back. Let's shoehorn him into an episode.
We'd love to have you back.
And it's funny too. We will see Babu again in the Visa with like a complete arc, a complete episode, and they get rid of him. They're not like, oh, let's keep this character around in New York so we can visit him every once in a while. They were just like, get rid of him. Like, it's just incredible. The writers are so good at coming up with characters. They don't need to depend on guest stars in order to have good episodes necessarily.
But there's also beauty in I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But there's beauty in the brevity of his appearances. It makes you want him more. So the fact that you only get him 2 to 3 times with the finale, you're like, ooh, I want more of him.
Oh, of course. So. Brian George is fantastic. Like, I think he is just incredible as Babu. I can't imagine anyone else in the role as Babu. I think he's honestly the reason why this episode is so good. Like, his character, his arc. Yeah. But I love the Jerry interaction with him. Elaine doesn't really have a lot of comedy to work with this episode. She has a presence, but this again is sort of the Jerry and George show for the most part in terms of like really funny stuff to work with, funny lines, funny situations. But I think Julia more than makes up for it with the you just really have to look at her facial expressions this episode. For the first time in a long time, I started sending you screen grabs because I was catching so many of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately bummed out that Kramer didn't get that much to work with. I feel like he's always the one that suffers from having an underwritten role in an episode. You don't see that so much with the other characters. Maybe because he is, as Charlie put it, the wild card.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give this episode 8.5 Bazooka Joes out of 10.
One other thing I'd like to add, though, I think another reason why, I'm sorry, you got me
That's
thinking.
good.
You got the juices flowing, man. I think one of the reasons also Babu was so memorable is he was one of the characters that added a phrase to the Seinfeld lexicon. So the very bad with the you very, very bad. That is one of those lines that stuck. Probably not as much as yada yada or things like that, but I think people will remember from Seinfeld. Oh, very, very bad man. But, so I'd say that's another reason why Babu is so memorable.
Have we been introduced to a character up to this point that will return one or two more times and leave such a mark as Babu does? We, of course, meet, Morty and Helen, but they're around a lot. I don't think we've met a character like Babu yet. Because Bookman from the library, he only shows up in the finale again.
Klompus, you said we saw 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, and I'd argue Babu's a bigger character than Klompus.
Agreed. We haven't met the real Lippman yet.
Haven't met the real Lippman. We haven't met Newman yet. We haven't met the Costanzas yet. So in a weird way, I think Babu might be our first Seinfeld character. Just one of those iconic roles that leaves a mark. All right, that's going to do it for us at Seincast. Vinny, how'd you like to let everyone know how they can get in touch with us?
I don't see it happening. Just kidding. Email us at seincast@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook and like us. Follow us on Twitter at Seincast. And we also have a Tumblr and a Pinterest page where you can keep up to date with all the weekly posts, such as these freeze frames we keep talking about.
And never post.
Yeah. It's fabulous.
Also, if you haven't already, please leave us a rating and review on iTunes. The more feedback we get, the more likely other Seinfeld fans will find out about the show. I kind of hate talking about iTunes on the show because it's ratings are ratings, but it does help us get noticed, and get more listeners, particularly Seinfeld listeners. And we recently had at the time of this recording, we're a week before Festivus, we received an early gift and just saw a huge spike in our rankings in the overall podcast. We're, I think right now, number 3 in TV and film, and who the hell knows how long that'll last, but it just means a lot that a lot of you out there are giving our show a chance and hopefully liking our show. And if you do like the show, please leave us a positive review. We don't want any airing of grievances on iTunes, but
you can air them. Go ahead.
Yeah, well,
go air away.
No, if you got an error, email us directly and we'll fix it. But we just really appreciate everyone out there, especially this time of year around the holidays, to just say thank you so much for all of your support week after week. It means a lot to us because I don't know. We joke that even if we didn't have listeners, Vinny, we'd still be doing this show.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
And we're not one of those podcasts that goes around giving insincere thank yous. So when we thank somebody, we really thank them. So, thank you.
So what episode are we discussing next week, Vinny?
Next week, we're discussing the 8th episode of Season 3, The Tape, as well as adult film star Elaine Bennis's next film, Elaine Does the Upper West Side.
But for now, I'm Matt.
I'm Vinny.
Signing off. Seinecast is not endorsed by Castle Rock Entertainment, Sony Pictures, or NBC, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. The official Seinfeld site can be found at sonypictures.com/TV/Seinfeld. Seinfeld, the Seinfeld logo, and all names, pictures, and audio of Seinfeld characters are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Castle Rock Entertainment, or their respective trademark and copyright holders.
Babu! Babu! Babu. I've got to tell you. I never do this, but the shrimp, it's a little stringy. You have any chicken?
The shrimp is stringy?
Well, maybe your refrigerator.
Quiet!